This is the PUJH 3000W dual motors electric bike, and my first honest reaction was simple. This thing looks and rides like a light electric motorcycle disguised as a bicycle. The stance is aggressive, the 24x4 fat tires fill the frame, and the whole setup has that let's go anywhere vibe. I've been riding it on paved roads, gravel, and a couple of steep local trails, and I want to share exactly how it felt, what worked, and what I had to adjust to. From my experience, setup was straightforward but not light work. It arrives mostly assembled, but the 85-pound weight is real. I had to be careful unboxing it and aligning the front wheel and handlebar without scratching anything. Mine came with the rack, fenders, phone holder, pump, a spare tube, spare brake pads, and a basic toolkit. The extras are genuinely useful, not filler. I'm 5'10", and the fit was comfortable out of the gate. The adjustable saddle and wide bars gave me good control, and I didn't feel cramped. The frame looks solid, welds are clean, and the paint is decent. I did find a tiny scuff on the plastic fender after shipping, nothing functional, but worth noting for anyone who's picky about cosmetics. Key features that stood out to me are the dual hydraulic disc brakes, the removable 52-volt 25-hour battery, the twist throttle with a single dual motor switch, and the 7-level suspension setup. That suspension is basically a stack of comfort helpers: 2 front fork shocks, a rear shock, seat springs, and the fat tires themselves acting like big cushions. It's not boutique suspension, but it smooths out busted pavement and washboard gravel better than I expected. On big rapid bumps, the rear shock can feel a bit harsh if you're hitting them at speed, but it kept the bike composed and online. Power is the headline. The dual hub motors are listed up to 3000 watts peak with 160 newton-meters torque, and I believe it. On a quiet straight, I clocked 38 miles per hour on the display, and it pulled there fast. The feel off the line is instant, more like a scooter than a bicycle. There's a switch to run one motor or both. In my opinion, that button is the difference between a bike you can live with and a bike that eats batteries. Around town, I kept it in single motor mode with pedal assist level 1 to 2, and it was still quick enough to keep pace with traffic on 25 to 30 miles per hour streets. On a steep gravel climb nearby, switching to dual motors felt like flipping on a winch. It just went up without drama, even on loose rock where lighter bikes spin out. With this much power comes weight, and weight brings pros and cons. The bike is very stable at speed. The long wheelbase and fat tires give it that planted feel that makes 30+ miles per hour less sketchy than it should be on a bicycle. Cornering is predictable on pavement and surprisingly confident on packed dirt, as long as you don't try to flick it around like a 30-pound trail bike. Low-speed handling is where the heft shows up. In tight spots, or when I had to lift the rear to reposition it in the garage, I had to slow down and plan a bit more than usual. If you live upstairs or need to hang it on a wall rack, keep that in mind. Braking is excellent. Dual hydraulic discs bring this heavy rig down from speed with real control. No spongy levers, no drama on emergency stops, and the modulation feels natural even if you're new to hydraulic brakes. I did a few hard stops from over 30 miles per hour to test fade and didn't notice anything worrying. For a bike this fast, the brakes are not optional. They're the reason I felt comfortable testing its top end. Battery and range always depend on how you ride. The 52-volt 25-hour pack equals 1300 watt-hours, which is a big number for an e-bike. Riding single motor, pedal assist level 1 to 2, cruising 15 to 20 miles per hour with some mild hills, I got a little over 60 miles before I wanted to plug in. Pushing harder with mixed throttle and frequent bursts of dual motor power, I ended up in the 35 to 45 mile window. With both motors on constantly and riding like a hooligan, you'll drain it fast. The battery is lockable and removable, and that's super practical. I charged it indoors without hauling the whole bike, and the display kept an accurate read on remaining power. For anyone new to this, watt-hours WH is the gas tank. The more watts you burn with speed, hills, or the second motor, the quicker it empties. The controls are simple. The twist throttle is intuitive, the motor switch is easy to reach, and the colorful display shows speed, battery, trip, and assist level clearly in daylight. The Shimano 7-speed works fine, but with this much torque, I mostly left it in a higher gear and let the motor do the heavy lifting. The lighting package is better than I expected. A bright headlight, rear light with turn signals, and a loud horn. The rack is sturdy enough for a backpack or small groceries. I also like the walking assist for pushing it up a short ramp. It saves your back when parking. Ride quality on broken pavement is where this bike shines for daily use. Potholes that would normally rattle my teeth got muted to a thud. On gravel, traction felt steady with those 4-inch wide tires, and climbing traction was a highlight. Because the motors are in the wheels, You do feel a little extra bounce on choppy terrain compared to a mid-drive setup that keeps weight in the frame. It's not a deal breaker, just a trait worth knowing if you plan on fast technical trails. For typical fire road and rough city streets, it's great. There are a few trade-offs. This is not a city slalom bike. Threading through dense traffic or carrying it upstairs is a chore. It can outrun what many bike lanes are designed for, so you need to be mindful of where and how you ride it. Also, depending on your local rules, a bike that can hit 38 miles per hour may not fit the usual Class 3 limits. I kept my speeds reasonable in shared spaces and saved the full send for open, safe roads and private trails. If you want a light, tossable commuter, this isn't it. If you want power, range, and comfort on rough surfaces, you're the target. In my opinion, the value here lands in the performance parts you use every ride. Big battery, strong motors, hydraulic brakes, full lighting, a solid rack, and that cushy suspension stack. The extras like the phone holder and pump are nice to haves and make the package feel complete. Build quality on the frame and core components feels stout. I did a once-over after my first rides and tightened a couple of fasteners, which I always do with direct-to-consumer e-bikes. Nothing unusual popped up. It's perfect for riders who want serious speed and hill-crushing torque, folks with mixed terrain around them, and anyone who plans to ride in places where you can open it up safely. From my experience, it also suits heavier riders or those carrying cargo because the torque doesn't flinch under load and the brakes can handle the mass. If you're in a suburban or rural area with rolling hills, gravel paths, or snow in the winter, it's a fun and capable tool. I'd recommend this for thrill seekers, off-road dabblers who want more bite than a single-motor fat tire bike, and riders who value comfort over nimble handling. I'd be cautious recommending it to apartment dwellers, riders who need to lift or carry their bike often, or anyone who primarily rides slow, crowded bike lanes where the power is wasted and the size becomes a hassle. Key features that make me keep reaching for it are the instant torque with that dual-motor switch, the legitimate stopping power, and the removable 52-volt 25-watt-hour battery that lets me choose between long-range cruising or all-out fun. The 24x4 tires hit a sweet spot, big enough for stability and float, but not so tall that they make the bike feel unwieldy. The display is readable, the controls are familiar after a few minutes, and the bundled accessories save extra purchases on day one. In conclusion, this PUJH feels like a budget beast in the best sense. The money clearly went into the motors, battery, and brakes, which are the parts that decide how it rides. It's not petite, and it's not trying to be. It's a powerful, comfy, go-almost-anywhere e-bike that rewards riders who have room to stretch its legs. Ride it responsibly, keep an eye on your bolts during the first weeks, and treat the battery like the precious resource it is, and you'll get a whole lot of grin out of every charge. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the PUJH 3000W dual motors electric bike. Thank you for watching.